Hey, Margo, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jason. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. So tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, first of all, I'm thrilled to be here because I'm part of your fan club. Your agency playbook has helped me immeasurably. I'm Margot Black. I'm a publicity expert, a communication specialist, and an award winning brand advocate, and also the founder and CEO of Black Ink PR.
Awesome. And how did you get started? Are you an accidental agency owner?
I'm an accidental agency
Mhm.
owner, which is something that I love that you said, which is how I found you because it made me identify immediately. And I had a beloved and dear producing partner that passed away. And I never expected that. So I never expected to be in business for myself. And I am mighty proud of what I've accomplished over the last few years.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And, today we want to talk about kind of storytelling. And I find a lot of people, especially accidental agency owners, like we knew how to do something cool, whether it be on the technology or on the marketing front, but we always struggle with kind of telling our story or telling the right story to really kind of bring people in. So, what are some strategies or what are some things that the listeners can to do in order to tell a story that really resonates with their audience?
Well, one of the most important things you want to do, first of all, is connect with your audience. So you want to find the common denominator, common denominators. And one of the most important ones are I know what you're thinking. I know what your problems are. That's how I found you. And because you were an agency owner and you would say, I know what it's like. And you told this story about how proposals would be so long and nobody would read them. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's my problem. And immediately I was like, who is this guy? What is this? I'm buying everything. I'm reading everything. And so the I know what you're thinking stories, I know what your problem stories are so powerful because we feel seen. And I find that most entrepreneurs do not get enough of those stories in. It comes in a lot of let me tell you all about me. Let me tell you how I'm started. Let me tell you what I do. But you want to show immediately that you understand your audience's problems. They will feel seen, they will feel validated, and they will feel supported in a way that they'll give you their money.
Yeah, and so do you kind of recommend kind of starting off with that of saying like, I just got back from our agency experience, and we were talking about one member was having issues with really trying to attract the right people or get them to convert on a landing page. And we were just talking about we're like you need to kind of do you know what I kind of do on our headlines is how to do something cool without doing something that sucks. Like, you
I
know,
love that.
right?
That's brilliant. Yes.
So like kind of start off with that, or do you start off because there's a couple problems. I just want to make sure people don't get confused because if we start off with the headline, like, do you want to know how to close 10 of your marketing proposals without spending a half hour on the proposal? Or do we start off going, are you wasting tons of the wrong time with prospects? Or what would you recommend on telling that right story?
Well, my absolute favorite way that everybody can win all the time are educational stories. And my favorite words are how to, right? How to tell a better story so people will listen, how to tell a story so customers convert, how to find five people that need what you have. How to is always so powerful. Then the next category I love is make it easy because everybody's so busy, everybody's so overwhelmed. I personally never want to buy anything. I once saw somebody selling 123 lessons. I wanted to vomit on the page. I was like, that's like an MBA. Why would I give you that? That's insane.
Yeah.
So, how to, and then the person who's the expert should tell this story, and everybody should write this down because this is what you want to do as a leader story. How to and make it easy. So I'm Margot Black, and I will simplify publicity so you understand the four quadrants that you need to dominate to get attention. Simplify this is the crux of the story. How to, and then simplify this. You're a genius at it. That's why I bought your product. It was so good. And it's true. You get the information that you're looking for. So simplify this for me. That will help people convert.
Yeah, I think too many times people think the more they create, the better, right? Like, and I'm like, no, 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 no. People have a very limited time and attention order. Like, literally, it was pretty funny. We broke up at the experience. We break up into little groups,
Mm-hmm.
and the group that I was leading, it was it was amazing because we had like 40% female, but in this group it was all males, and they all had ADHD, and
Oh,
so it was pretty funny. Like, we were all over the place, and I remember uh, Dan, one of the members, he goes to the other member and he got really deep. He's like, because he was trying to figure out the niche that he needs to pick,
mm-hmm.
and Dan was like, well, what do you have passion in? And like, he was really like going to him. And then Michael literally he goes, well, man, I'm all over the place. Like, I'll get into tennis, I'll get the tennis racket, I'll get the tennis shoes, and then I'll go into pickleball, I'll do that or that. And then he ends with, and that's why I don't have a tattoo. And it was the best ending I've ever heard of anything. And
Oh
like,
my God, that's so good. I want to write for him why I don't have a tattoo and how it can help you.
and
Boom.
he bought that domain name on the spot because I told him it was
Perfect.
the best ending I've ever heard.
Perfect. Perfect. That's fantastic. One
Yeah.
of the other stories that people can do, and I understand people have ADHD, there's so much there. And one of the things I really appreciated, it was the first time I saw it when I brought your agency playbook, Jason, was your videos were shorter. They were like 8 minutes, 15 minutes on the longest. And I was like, hallelujah. And you gave all the templates. We knew what we were doing. And frankly, I bought it for a cheat code. I had a very specific problem. I knew you were going to solve that problem in that thing. And I was like, here, you told me the problem and I went in to get it. And it really solved a problem for me.
Yeah.
So this brings me to my next story that leaders and agency owners want to tell more of. I do not hear enough of this. How we do it stories. How we
Okay.
do it. Okay. So
Give us
I wrote.
an example of that.
All right. So I'm going to put a shameless plug in for my latest book, Life's a Pitch. Right.
Okay.
And in this book, I break it down how we do it at Blacking PR. We have 4 lanes that we work in because people are so confused all the time what to do. I break it down. Are you on your visuals, your values, your verbal, or the visibility? Like, get in a lane, and these are the things you have to do. So that how we do it stories help your audience understand you're not like running off the cuff. You're not making stuff up on the fly. You have a formula. You have your 8 steps. One time I saw a poster that you did, how to scale. It was genius. I was like, oh my God, I love this poster. Look, it shows you at each level. Now, parts of that weren't relevant to me. I'm never going to get that big. I don't have a desire. But I could see that you were the man to take somebody over the finish line through those 8 steps because you had them outlined and you knew what they were. So the how we do it stories for leaders show you to have a structure and a plan. And everybody loves a leader with a plan.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to, when we would be on a sales call as the
Mhm.
agency, and I would describe in intimate detail so the prospect could understand how we were going to make them successful,
Mhm.
then they would compare us or everyone else to us. Because,
Right.
like, I'm basically going, you could actually go do this yourself. They want to know how to do it, but they don't want to go do it. Do you agree with that?
Exactly. Exactly. And so, nobody wants to do that. And we at Blacking PR have a motto, one, great stories bring great results. Like, we're going to find everybody's best stories, future cast stories, which I'll get to in a minute. And then we don't give executives homework because nobody wants to pay money and get a pile of crap landed on their desk, right? So from other people's pain, we've learned we don't give homework. We do it all. Now, other people, you don't know how they're going to do the work. And you don't want to sign on to pay money and wind up with more work that you can't complete. That's why it's essential. The how we do it stories, and that how we do it story has to show the finish line in the story.
And you're probably introducing some different elements in that story of, and my clients didn't have to do anything. Is that
Right.
correct?
Right. Right. You want some press? I'll write it all for you. And we show you the structure. Sure, I might not know about how to fix cars, but I'll download the information from you. I'll transcribe it. I'll put it in your voice. And then you look and you check and you say, this is good. This is not good. Um, but you don't have to sit there and do the writing, which is where people freeze. So when you tell clients the how we do it stories, which leaders need to show because it shows that they know how to get to the end before they begin. That's what everybody wants. The
Yeah.
other story that helps leaders a lot is what's changing and where we're going, right? The whole world is changing so fast. You want to know that the person who's leading or selling or has the agency or is there to solve your problem is not only aware of your problem, but aware of all the ways that the playing field is changing. And they've already done the work and addressed it, and they have made their own map. And here we are to share it with you. So that goes under the story of what's changing and where we're headed.
Okay. I like that. And then are there any other stories that you recommend for leaders
Yeah.
to
Yes.
tell?
Teaching stories help. If you don't know what to do at all and you're completely confused at any time, just teach. That's the
Okay.
number one thing. If you don't know, just teach. Teach me how to do it. Teach me how. I see other agencies doing things that I would like to learn. Just tell me what you teach and then tell me how you teach it. That is the number one place I recommend people go if they don't know what to do. Again, you're fantastic at it. You're constantly teaching. Everybody learns something. The other one that I really recommend is lots of people want to say like whatever values they have, but you really need to see it in action more than to be preachy because nobody likes preachy. So again, I'll use myself as an example. Like as a human being, I'm an always, always learner, right? I had a problem. I went to research my problems and I picked you. And I was like, ta-da! And here I am, a lifelong fan. So when you learn the value and you tell somebody a story of what it is, that's it. And let me tell you a quick story. My value for always, always learning. I found your agency playbook, right? I was getting lost on client calls, potential client calls. It was taking way too long. I purchased your agency playbook. You give a template. The second question you ask is what's your budget? And I was like,
No more wasting time, right?
oh my God. I was going 45 minutes in. I was supplying other sources. And I was like, Jason Swank for the win. But here's the thing before I bought it, and this is really my point to anybody watching, I already knew you solved that problem because you told me how we do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think too many people, and especially now, they just go into, talking about, how many dogs and cats they have at the office and,
Oh,
how much they drink coffee. I'm like, or who, what different awards they've won. And no one cares. I always tell people the best story for people is the story that they're the star in, not you. And
that's
so
it. That's it.
how do you do that? Right.
Okay.
I ask, yeah.
Can I help your audience? I know
Yeah.
how to do that. So everybody makes themselves their star. And this is storytelling tactics. They work from Plato to Pixar. It's the same. And you are Alfred and your client is Batman.
Yep.
You are always Alfred and you were there to help. There are other times in your life where you get to be the star of your story, maybe at your wedding or a story you're telling with friends. But when it comes to work, the customer and their transformation is always the star.
Yeah.
And people go way too much into themselves. Yes, we want to be liked. Yes, we want to work with people we connect with, but I need to know that you understand me and you can solve my problems.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, they wanted an advisor
Yeah.
and they want to save some time. Honestly, it's all about time because everyone can figure out probably what and can go execute it. But it takes a lot of time. I mean, think about all the years that all of you have put into your craft and all the mistakes that you've missed. Well, you can save that person time because they don't have to go through it.
Right. And I want to give you another great story for leaders to tell, and that's the who I am story. Right. Many people start way too early on this story. I wouldn't do this story first, which is what mistake people make. They start telling me, like, I've worked with an interior designer who, is extraordinary, but she starts talking about how she studied in Paris in
Oh,
college. And nobody has ever hired a designer and said, look at my beautiful home. The designer studied in Paris. Never on
well, you know
planet.
what you think about when I hear that? I'm like, oh, you're going to charge me a lot.
A man would definitely say that. And well, for sure, a man would say that. He'd be terrified. But that's not what any woman wants. I'll tell you what women want with the interior designer. I'm not going to fight with my husband. It'll look gorgeous. We'll agree before we purchase. And this home is going to be mine and look sensational. So you're driving for different things that you're solving. And that goes back to the story leaders should tell, the who I am story, right? So I told you that, and I'll give you an example. Like at Black and PR, we believe great stories bring great results. And that's what people want. They want to be in the press, they want to be seen as an expert. So not only am I a storyteller, but I'm a journalist and an author. Like I write, I'm one of you. So if you're going to pick me, pick somebody who is obsessed with words and their creative powers.
Yeah.
Don't pick somebody that's going to be like practicing on your story, right? And those are the stories you want to tell that way. We are all senior level consultants because we learned along the way people don't like to have young people practicing on them. So you have to understand the story you're telling is still for your audience, even though it's the who I am story. And your who I am story attracted me. I bought. I was like, oh, this guy buys and sells agencies. He has run an agency. And the thing on the who I am story, Jason, it was your love of nature. I like a different element of nature. I love to sail. I love to be on the ocean. But you shared a love of nature. And I was like, I do too. I
Yeah.
want to finish my job and go sailing on Saturday. I
Yeah.
don't want to work on Saturday. I want to sail with my family. And so that attracted me to you to solve my problems. And that's how the who I am story should function in business.
Yeah, I've always believed in sprinkling in a little bit about what you love and in what you do rather than just talk, right? Like I love climbing mountains. And honestly, like if I didn't almost die like 4 times on a sailboat, that would be probably one of my most favorite things to do because I would love to buy a pirate ship and sail around the world. Like that would be amazing, but I know if I did that, I would absolutely die.
That's so funny because I would love to come on one of your retreats sometime, but you have horseback riding and I've fallen off a horse. But
Yeah.
I'm fearless and I once got stuck in a stall with an angry horse. So I'm like, oh my God, horseback riding in the mountains and like the desert. Yeah, I'll pass. But we all have our things. And I love a pirate vibe, a big,
Yeah.
big pirate vibe. I want to give everybody one more story.
Go for it.
This is so important for right now. The world is so cluttered, right? And everybody needs, from any leader, a vision story. And a vision story, again, you always want it to include your client, right? And your vision that I accepted was these are the 8 pillars of agency ownership. And there's the E-Myth. These are the 7 parts you have to get together. My book says these are the 4 things for publicity you've got to get in order for any story. A vision story, and we all know the greatest one, which is Martin Luther King saying, I have a
I have a
vision,
dream. Yeah.
right? I have a dream. That wasn't even his story. Mahalia Jackson said, tell him about the dream. Tell him about the dream. And he said, I have a dream. And he started to tell people his dream. And that's one of the most powerful visions we've ever received as a nation. So leaders need to tell, look, and this is going to seem so simple. I see you at the beach on Saturday. Let's get your organization working so you're not doing emails Saturday morning at 10 o'clock when you want to take your kids to karate.
Yeah.
You need to focus on your CRM. You need to focus on your things that aren't referrals. You need to focus on your cold leads. You need to focus on this. And when you can give a vision, Like, we're a team, and this is what team looks like to us, not to me, to us.
Yep.
You are a stronger leader because you're leading a vision.
Yep.
And that's what people will be grateful for.
Well, I love it, and Margot, this has been a lot of fun, especially kind of going through the different types of stories that we have. Make sure you check out her book. Hold it up again and tell us the name.
Life's a pitch, how to win what you want in business and in life. And it's really just about understanding what lanes you need to be in. If you need help, you can find me at Black Ink PR, and hit me up if you want some publicity or some marketing help. But you really, one last big tip.
Yeah.
You got to have your stories structured so that when you're telling them, they're quick and to the point.
Perfect. Awesome.
You know,
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was amazing to have you on. And for everyone listening, if you guys want to have access to the first 3 systems of the playbook, we just started giving away those 3 systems for free. All you have to do is go to swank.com and just put in your information, and that will go through the main foundation that you need in order to build on, so you can really get your agency sailing in the right direction. I'm trying to put the sailing, but don't drown with that. But go to swank.com, and until next time, have a swank. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the link on the screen, or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a swank day. What are you doing? Go check it out. Click on the link. I'll see you soon.